Hello, thank you for joining us on ERi-TV for English News Broadcast. We are live from the headquarters in Asmara. First, the top stories. National celebrate Independence Day anniversary. Training on social sciences. Nearly 10% of the world's population affected by hunger last year, UN states. Mass protest against Israeli government enters 21st week. Nationals in the Scandinavian countries celebrated the 32nd Independence Day anniversary with patriotic zeal under the theme Heroic Feat anchored on cohesive ranks. At the celebratory event, organized in a number of Norwegian, Danish, as well as Swedish cities, a number of nationals and especially youth took part. The events were highlighted by cultural and artistic performance depicting the day. Briefings were also provided regarding the heavy sacrifices paid in bringing the national independence and safeguarding the national sovereignty, as well on the role and contribution of nationals inside the country and abroad. The National Union of Eritrean Youth and Students organized training to 3,600 youth, including 1,182 females in the central region, on social science. At the conclusion event of the training on 27th May, in which Mr. Yusuf Sayiq, head of organizational affairs of the PFDJ, and other invited guests took part, Mr. Samson Kifle, head of the union branch in the region, said that the union is working in cooperation with partners to develop the political, economic, as well as social awareness of the youth. In the same vein, the football competition that was underway for about 2 months between 24 teams of several ministries has been concluded. The Cultural and Sports Week of Students in Haggaz subzone that was underway starting from 20th May concluded on 24th May. The Cultural and Sports Week, in which 740 students from all administrative areas participated, included sports and cultural programs as well as general knowledge competition, indicating that the Cultural and Sports Week was part of the effort to develop the overall capacity of the students. Mr. Idris Abdu, head of the educational facilities in the subzone, commended the strong participation of the students in the program. Noting on the significance of the program, Mr. Taglahaymanot Samuel, managing director in the subzone, called for reinforced relation between students, parents, and teachers with a view to develop the teaching-learning process. At the event, awards have been handed over to winners of the various competitions. In Haggaz subzone, there are 37 schools ranging from kindergarten to high school, providing regular education to over 12,000 students. Stay tuned for international news after a short break. World hunger levels rose against last year after soaring in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and the Russia-Ukraine war, coupled with climate change, now threatened starvation and mass migration on unprecedented scale this year, according to UN agencies. Up to 828 million people, or nearly 10% of the world's population, were affected by hunger last year, which is 46 million more than in 2020 and 150 million more than in 2019. Agencies including the Food and Agriculture Organization, World Food Programme, and World Health Organization said in the 2022 edition of the UN Food Security and Nutrition Report, World hunger levels had remained relatively unchanged between 2015 and 2019. There is a real danger these numbers will climb ever higher in the months ahead, said WFP Executive Director David Beasley, adding that price spikes in food, fuel, and fertilizers stemming from Russia-Ukraine war threaten to push countries into famine. He also added that the result will be global destabilization, starvation, and mass migration on an unprecedented scale. Action needs to be taken today to avert this looming catastrophe. The COVID-19 pandemic, armed conflicts around the world, and climate change have combined to create an unprecedented situation for the most vulnerable, they said. Tens of thousands of Israelis gathered yesterday for the relentless weekly protest against their government's plan to overhaul the legal system. The mass protests entered their 21st week. This week's rallies come days after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition of ultra-Orthodox and ultra-nationalist parties passed a new two-year budget. The main protest took place in Tel Aviv, drawing thousands of flag-waving protesters. The passing of the new budget could grant some stability to Israel's most hardliner government ever. However, it also appeared to fuel protesters' views that Netanyahu appeals to his religious allies rather than address the wider economic woes of the broader society. Organizers of the grassroots protesters billed them as a movement to save democracy. They say the government's plan to weaken the Supreme Court would destroy the court system of checks and balances and compromises Israel's democracy. Proponents of the judiciary overhaul say it's needed to rein an overzealous Supreme Court. Netanyahu delayed the proposed changes in March, but protesters organized say they want to keep the demonstration up until the plans are scrapped. The government may think we're starting to get tired after 21st week, but even if we're tired, democracy is still more important to us, said a protester. And now we have a quick review of the top stories. National celebrates Independence Day anniversary. Training on social science. Nearly 10% of the world population affected by hunger last year. Mass protests against Israeli government enters 21st week. It was Miss Salim Brhano with the news for tonight. Thank you for joining us.